I'm Jono Buchanan, and in this video we're going to look at one of the little developments that taken place with MIDI effects with the latest update to Logic 10.7.5. Now MIDI effects are incredibly useful. What they allow us to do is to take MIDI performances and pass them through either one or a whole series of processes which in some way manipulates that MIDI and does something interesting to it. But effectively, until this update, those MIDI effects have been things through which sounds need to pass every time in order to be processed. So in other words, when we've been working with the Arpeggiator, for instance, what's happened is that we've held down a chord, the MIDI effect has processed that arpeggiation, but effectively what we see on the screen is the held chord rather than the output of arpeggiated notes. What we can now do is to record MIDI effects so that they become permanently part of a file that we record. And that's incredibly useful in ways that we're going to explore. So what I've got here is a little analog pluck sound from RetroSynth. And what I'm going to do is to set up my first MIDI effect, which is actually going to be the Chord Trigger. Now, Chord Trigger is actually a really interesting little MIDI effect. What it allows us to do is to trigger a chord, a shape, if you like, from an individual note. And what we can do is to either use this in single mode or in multi-mode. I'm going to stick with single mode for now. And what I want to do firstly is to teach Chord Trigger the chord that I want to trigger every time I play a note. I'm going to do that by pressing Learn, and then what I'm going to do is to decide what sort of a chord shape I want, and I kind of want this major seventh. I'm going to just play this chord, and having learned that chord, now when I play one note, that major seventh chord is triggered everywhere I go, quite old school rave sounding, which is quite nice. Okay, but what I've still got is a whole series of other MIDI controls, like for example, Veloicty, available to me. So you can hear that the notes get louder in terms of the way that I play. So if I play quiet velocities, the chord is quieter. And we're going to come back to that in a moment. What I want to do first, though, is to trigger my individual sort of chord trigger effect. And I want to see how that's sort of brought into the project. Now, before I change anything, we're effectively using MIDI effects in the way that we were before the 10.7.5 update. So if I was to record this sound now, just a single note will be recorded because the chord trigger is being triggered through MIDI effects live, and so only the performance, the individual note that I played, is actually going to be captured. Let's show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so there's my sequence, which I'm going to quantize. And what we can see when I open this up is that just a single note is going to exist within the piano roll display because I've only played one note. So if we have a look at the sequence that I've played, sure enough, there is just the individual note. In order for the chords to be generated, these notes need to be sent through Chord Trigger, and that's where they pick up their kind of major seventh chord. But what if what I wanted to do was to actually make those major seventh chords a permanent part of the region that I'm recording? In other words, I want to be able to turn off Chord Trigger and be left with the actual chords that I have played. Well, in order to do that, what I'm going to do is to throw this region away for a moment because I'm going to re-record it. And I'm going to come back to Chord Trigger. Now here what I can do when I select it is to now select this new option, which is called Record MIDI to Track Here. And if I turn this on, let's just come back for a moment. You can see that it's got these little orange sort of markers around it. And if I come back, you can now see that that option is ticked. And that makes a big difference when it comes to recording the MIDI. Because now when I press stop, straight away, even without opening up the region inspector, I can see that there are 4 notes. And sure enough, if I open them up, those chords have now been permanently recorded, which means I can actually turn this off simply by turning its power light off. And we should, again, I might quantize it just to make my timing seem even better. We should now be hearing, obviously, all of those notes being played back together because they've been captured with the chords. Sure enough. Okay, so that's really useful. Let's just close that and get rid of that again. I'm going to again replay that in just a moment. But what I also want to do is to add a second MIDI processor, another MIDI effect. And this time what I'm going to do is to use the Veloicty processor. So at the moment, as we saw at the beginning, every time I play sort of a wide range of velocities, I'm obviously hearing that reflected in the performance, and I'm capturing it too. If I play quieter notes, they're represented that way. And what I want to do is to find a way to be able to kind of squeeze the velocity processes of these notes. In other words, I want to narrow the kind of velocity range over which I can play. And to do that, what I'm going to do is to drop the threshold considerably, in fact, all the way down to 1. I'm going to increase the ratio. This is exactly like working with sort of compression, but what we're now doing is compressing the velocity, if you like. And what I can then do is to select a makeup gain amount to basically set the velocity where I want it. And the advantage of this means that now if I play really quiet notes, they're quite loud. And if I play really loud notes, they're much quieter. So effectively what I'm doing is to restrict the velocity range. Okay, so I've done that. Now I have a decision to make. Do I want to record the chords but not these velocity changes? In other words, do I want the live processing of the MIDI effect to control velocity? Or do I want to record, if you like, these velocity triggers so that they become part of the region? Well, if I leave my settings exactly as they are, this second one is what will happen. In other words, I'm going to record the chords, but not the velocity processing, which will happen live. But if I want to, what I can do is to come down to the velocity processor, and I can come to record MIDI to track here and move it down 1 slot. And what that now means is that yes, I'm going to record the chords and I'm going to record the velocity information. And if I keep the piano roll open, we should see the colors of the notes as they go in being a much more even range, because obviously those colors represent velocity range. Okay, so through that performance, I've tried to vary velocity to play some really quiet notes and to play some much louder ones, and of course it hasn't really made any difference. What I've now got is a whole series of green notes representing the fact that the velocity is being controlled, and sure enough, I'm sure if I open up MIDI Draw and have a look at those velocities, you can see that I've tried to play much more loudly here, and because of the velocity processor, I've only been able to get a little bit louder. Okay, so what we've now got is this great sort of new addition, which is this sort of capacity to record or print the effect of MIDI effect notes, which means that of course we can then bypass these effects if we want to, because effectively now they've become part of the performance. But there is one more I'm actually going to add. I'm going to use note repeat, and I want to just try out what will happen if I add note repeats to this performance. Now, the interesting thing about this is what I'm going to do is to set it, I think, to 16th notes. So I'm going to just set up a little note repeater. I just want 1 repeat, and what I want to do is to take it up the octave, so we get this kind of extra sort of ravey element which is sort of sitting on the top of these individual notes. But what I'm going to do is to turn the velocity ramp down. Now this is a really important point. I know what you're thinking, but we're controlling velocity, right? Well, we were in the previous step. Remember, all of these effects are added sequentially. So if I add a little note repeat with a velocity ramp offset, that's happening after the velocity processing, and therefore it's not going to get caught and bound up in that. It's effectively a velocity offset which is happening after the other effects. Now, I don't want to print this and make this part of my file. If I did, I'd get a whole other new set of notes, a 16th note later and an octave higher. I'm really happy for this effect just to run live. So we've seen the effect that we get when we start printing MIDI effects, which is this idea of being able to record them, making them permanent part of our file. And we can see that we can still run live effects as well. And obviously I've had a chance to bypass the ones that we no longer need because they've become part of this sequence. So this is a really significant development for MIDI effects. What we can now do is to decide whether or not we want to make the MIDI effects we use permanently part of the regions that we create. And another really useful feature, for example, would be to print or record an arpeggiation live. So if we were using the Arpeggiator, obviously if we decide to record that, then instead of a chord which effectively the arpeggiator is breaking up for us. We are actually going to record those lines individually, those individual notes. And as we've seen in this video, we can do similar things with chord trigger, velocity processing, and the note repeat. But obviously we've still got the capacity to use note repeat in the way that we used to. So now, for instance, if I was to bypass this note repeat effect, it would disappear. It's not part of the region that I've recorded. So you can decide how to chain the MIDI effects that you want to use and which ones you actually want to record in real time and which ones you want to continue to run live just to experiment at the production stage.